Beautiful. Welcome, everyone, to today's Regenerative Roundtable. My name is Christina Amon, and I am really thrilled to bring together the voices that are going to be sharing today. I'm going to go ahead and say it. We are living in polarizing times, or attemptingly polarizing times, and I can honestly say that soil is the common ground. I don't know that anybody who's done any kind of research could argue that the importance of soil health for our planet. And the more people are researching it and understanding, the more that we're coming to really embrace what a big deal this is and accept the world that we live in now and really vision together and work towards creating the world that we want to be living in. So a real kind of basic summary of the world that we live in is that our grandparents and generations before, they're the ones who could really truly say food is medicine. You know, there's the old Hippocrates quote, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." And I do believe that really made sense. There's, so many old timers, so many grandmother stories of people who just have lived long, high quality, good, healthy lives, um, because the food that they ate really contained the medicine that they needed, along with herbs and good rest and a jolly laugh and on sunshine and all the other things. But really to compare that to the world that we live in now, we live in a world where 97% of our soils are depleted of the nutrients that then go into the foods that we eat. So just really think about that for a moment, that what that's telling us is that the food that we're eating is mostly empty of true nutrients. So even if you're eating organic food, which maybe doesn't have the chemicals that other conventional agriculture does it really have the nutrient value? So what happens if our food doesn't contain the nutrient value, doesn't contain the medicine that we need to really thrive and live optimally? Well, we're seeing much more dis-ease in these modern times than our grandparents saw, in the same way. So um, I think I heard recently that by 2030, every single adult will be diagnosed with some form of cancer. Of course, I don't want to believe that, but that was a statistic that was thrown out. And it really just speaks to the prevalence of cancer in adults and autoimmune diseases, autism in children are just really high, and it's happening sort of in the same timeline as we're watching the soil depletion happening, really stemming from that bringing in the chemical agriculture industry and that industrial agriculture where it really became mechanized, and uh, loads of chemicals have been dumped into the soil now for decades, and we're looking at the result of that. So if people aren't getting their medicine from their food, what's happening? They're looking often, or the solution that's being offered to people is getting medicine from pharmaceuticals, which has its time and place, absolutely. And if that becomes the trend, now we're looking at a really interesting business model where a lot of these same corporations are one and the same, right? Monsanto, Bayer. Monsanto is the agricultural division, Bayer's the pharmaceutical division of a company. So in their business model, they're able to harm the people through agricultural chemicals. And then they're able to say, but we've got you. We have a chemical that can help you feel better. And it may or may not. and it may or may not cause other problems. That's a whole nother discussion. But what I'm really interested in is how can we get to a place where our food also contains the nutrients that give us the medicine to where we can really thrive on this planet. And not even just from a human standpoint, right? Because that's just our relationship with the soil, but from a planetary standpoint, because we are all interconnected. And now there's more and more information coming out about how important building up a robust soil is to the climate crisis, to the entire thing. The solution can be found in sequestering carbon right into the soil. So I don't want to be the only one to talk today. We have some phenomenal people on this call. I'll just kind of close out with a real little synopsis of really why we're gathered here on this platform and what's brought me personally to it. So I saw the need for more people to be cultivating land, regenerating soil, and creating and designing systems where humans could come reconnect with the earth, reconnect with our lineage of growing food and medicine and living in harmony with the earth, and coming together for the education and the celebration and the healing that kind of lifestyle can offer. So I knew from early on in my life that my path was to steward land and help restore it to a place of great fertility and abundance to share with others. And as I went down this path and met my husband, and he had the land, and we had shared the same vision, how convenient, we came up against the walls of not having the budget to create the infrastructure to design this type of living system. And what came into our lives was an economic opportunity to build in part-time hours residual income in a way that divested and actually circulated money outside the realm of the corporate world, supporting regenerative farmers by partnering with a superfoods company. And that has allowed us over the past 5 years to develop this part-time online residual income that's now funding the development of the infrastructure on our farm. So literally, this company, through our partnership, is helping regenerate soil at our homestead. Now, what this has also allowed me to do is partner with other people who are doing the same thing. So my vision for this planet is that people all over the globe have access to land, have access to the wisdom, which has always been part of human history. People for indigenous and native peoples for many, many, many generations have always contained the wisdom to live in harmony and balance with the soil, with the plants, with the animals. So restoring this wisdom, giving credit where credit is due to this ancient body of knowledge, and really helping people create this all over the planet. And I do believe we can feed everybody that way, that people can live optimal health that way, that people can live equitably that way with justice. And so we have an economic model that is allowing farmers to fund the development and the production of their farms, which I find phenomenal, because trying to be a farmer and a parent and raise the capital and manage people and work on our own inner stuff all at the same time is quite the ambitious feat. So we're going to get to hear from two other voices who are doing the same. And the last thing I'll say, and I'm sure they're going to touch on it more as well, is that this particular superfoods company that we're partnering with, Purium, that we're here to talk about today, also is growing food in regenerative soil, meaning that the food, these superfoods, are so optimally dense that they're offering our bodies this cellular activation, this cellular nourishment that many of us lacked because we were eating food whose soil didn't have that level of fertility. So you'll hear, not necessarily on this call, but as you dig deeper into learning about these superfoods, thousands and thousands of testimonials who find their health solutions with these superfoods, often when they couldn't find it anywhere else, even Western medicine, even all the other superfoods and supplements on the market. And it really, to me, really comes down to the soil quality, the purity, and a really powerful way of encapsulating the wide spectrum of nutrients and enzymes when they dehydrate it. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my friend Erica. She's here in Hawaii, where I am as well. We're both creating farms, raising children, wanting to be pillars in our community. We are pillars in our community. This woman's amazing, offers so much nourishment, education, bringing people together in celebration, creating a legacy to pass on, helping heal the land where she's rooted herself, and is just a really bright light. So thanks for being here, Mama, and adding to this really powerful conversation.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Christina. I always really love and appreciate what you share and the way you're bringing this to the table today. It's something that I feel like just at the core of my being lit up to talk about, to hear about, and it resonates in a deep way because I feel like I can trace my desire to connect with agriculture and the planet back to my early childhood. And for many, many years, I just really experienced myself like asking greater questions about our universe, like, and wanting to know more about that indigenous wisdom. Like, well, how did these, ancient people provide for their life? How did they sustain without X, Y, and Z resources in our modern world? And so I'd always been passionate about wanting to grow food, and led me on a path to become not only an organic farmer, but also a natural foods trained chef. So I'd my whole young adulthood go back and forth between the kitchen and the garden, and making medicines and educating people about healthy food and authoring a cookbook and many different things of that nature. And by the time I found myself 20 years ago moving to the island of Hawaii, I soon was growing my food. I was super allured by the year-round growing season, and my eyes were opened wide, and I saw the possibility of what could happen with a tropical growing climate and ability to really be in sustainable food production year-round. And at the same time, I also soon started to witness what was happening with a toxic chemical agriculture paradigm that had been going on here for many years and had left nutrient depleted soils everywhere, and had a lot of trial and error in trying to grow my own food and seeing what wasn't working, and so much more of what was needed to actually create thriving food systems, which kind of goes hand in hand with thriving community systems. So for me at that time, I was trying to raise a family. I had had 5 babies in 10 years, was trying to raise the food, trying to raise the income. And I was a depleted mess. I was energetically depleted. I was financially depleted. I was in so much relationship stress that I soon after a long chapter of trying to hold all of those responsibilities up, found myself a single mother, like starting all over from scratch. And I learned a lot of things on this path that have actually really inspired me to share today, because cut to the future, I've really created a whole new dynamic that I'm living in, a whole new thriving lifestyle. And I just understood so deeply that it was next to impossible to try to embody that life really in production all day long of what it takes to farm, to raise animals, to care for the garden soil beds, and to have the family and everything else. And it took me making some dramatic shifts in my life and really starting to nourish on a deeper level to create more of an existence that I could actually sustain, that I could actually be more efficient in how I was using my energy. And in a place when I was really just in deep recovery, I started to find this amazing nutrition that Christina was sharing about. And it brought me back to life and like revitalized me on a core cellular level in such a deep way after 13 years pregnant and breastfeeding without a pause, that I actually started to have the energy to go out and to farm and to like further my development of communities and entrepreneurial work and moving my mission forward in the world. And no longer was I like just getting to the maintenance every day. I was starting to have vision for the future. I was starting to feel resourced energetically and physically and financially to do much greater things in the world. And so that was really a game changer in my life. And what I discovered is that it became very easy and natural to share what was supporting me so deeply with others. And instead of feeling the limitation of just trying to eat from what I could grow with my own hands, I actually felt this like exponential energetic gain by being able to have quick, convenient, pure, nutrient dense nutrition that even though I was growing my own gardens and thriving on my own food, it nourished me at a level I had never experienced before. And it supported me to come into a level of like restoration of my energy that was so deep. What I could start to do in a day and in a week and in a year was incredible. And in the present moment, I've actually now been able to secure a piece of land for my family home. And we are creating a beautiful family farm that I'm also cultivating as a place for homeschooling education and community workshops and a CSA agricultural model. And we're actually, as a family with my multi-generational children and my mother retired in the home now, seeing the bigger picture of how we have a long-term sustainable opportunity to fund for what we're doing here, and also energetically to make it happen. When the pieces come together, when the people come together and the mission is aligned, we're moving so much more energy as a whole, and we're able to have this greater impact on our community and reach more people. And presently, I'm actually cultivating animals and the land in which we have systems that are regenerating the soils. We have ways that we've been able to remineralize, to alkalize our soil beds, to use things like green manures and composting, and just so many beautiful techniques that are creating just an amazing way to regenerate the health of the soils, the health of the food, and then to remineralize us and to put this out on a much greater level than what I could ever do as a super rundown, tired mama trying to farm and also just do it all. And I realized that the gifts of what Purium has brought into my life have just created this amazing support and also really helped to amplify what we are capable of doing in the world. So thank you so much for inviting me to share on that. And it's an honor to be part of this Regenerative Roundtable.
Thank you, Erica. Yeah, I just want to, really note what you were saying about when you got your body to that place of true nourishment, then you could really show up in your life. And I really think this is the experience of restoring our guts. It sounds so funny. Like, I remember as a kid talking about, like, do you have the guts, But it makes so much sense right now, even when we really rely on our gut instincts, that gut health is so much of the foundation of all health, of the immune system, of the production of serotonin, the ability to even there's so many people who experience these superfoods who even experience a shift in mental health because we're actually restoring our guts. So many people, because of the chemicals that are in agriculture, even found in or organic agriculture, and glyphosate is a topic we haven't even really touched on yet. The gut lining is often very leaky, as they call it, but just like thin and has holes. And even if you're eating like really good food, you don't necessarily absorb it when your gut isn't healthy and robust. So there, this deeper healing of eating foods from soil that is built up, that does have that spectrum of nutrients, that has food, that has roots that are going down so deep and pulling up trace minerals from the earth that we wouldn't otherwise get from crops that have short root structures. All of this is lending itself to creating the kind of health. And for me, I hadn't ever experienced that feeling before. And I thought I was doing all the healthy things. I was already growing my own food. I was eating organic. I had tried all the different vegan, vegetarian, live food, going back to meat, all the different things. And nothing felt as deeply nourishing and strong and grounded and immune fortified and mentally clear and emotionally balanced as I did eating these foods. And it really does trace back to that soil quality that it's being grown in. So not only are we, getting that nourishment here, but also how we're getting to build our own soil to then grow even more food with higher quality and share it in more ways in a fresh and local way, which is really important to economy and health as well. And the social aspect of sharing food, sharing feasts together, which you're so amazing at. So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I want to bring on Daniela to share, another farmer, mama, holding up so many hats, activist from Puerto Rico, community leader, community builder, and just a really beautiful being. And I'm looking forward to your contribution to this conversation as well, Daniela.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you for the intro. Yeah, my experience was exactly the same as yours. When I found Purium, when I found this company and these products, I was already growing my own food, and I had been for a decade, and I had been eating organic for a decade, and I was doing it all right, and I still felt depleted. I still felt that something was missing. I wasn't at my optimal health. And that really showed when I started having kids, and that's when my body really, obviously you're putting all of your nutrients and all of the energy of the body goes into sustaining and creating this other human being that, your body sort of self-sacrifices. And that's when I started realizing, like, wait a second, something's not right. Like, I'm not doing enough. Something's really missing here. And the other thing was knowing everything that I knew about how food is produced nowadays, and how sadly farmers are even being incentivized for poor practices. They're even being paid to use these chemicals. So the whole way, the whole food system that is the norm of how we're receiving our foods, I knew too much. So just going out and buying a supplement for me is unheard of. There, if someone would, I'm an ingredient reader, just to summarize. I definitely, I'm always conscious of the things that I put in my body, because I know that most of it is highly intoxicated. So I'm very strict. So for me to actually find something that aligned with all of my values, and that actually was clean, and was full of minerals, it was full of health, for me, that was just it was kind of like a mind-blowing situation. um so one of the things that surprised me with this is, in my journey with Purium, is that I started talking to a lot of other farmers, especially women, and I wasn't the only one who felt this way. And I honestly, I couldn't understand for the longest time. I couldn't understand why, if we were all growing our own food, we were all tending the land, we were all, living very simple, natural lives, why were we all feeling depletion. Why was it not enough? And that's when I start, understanding the importance of the soils that we're working in. We talk a lot about regenerative agriculture, and I am a regenerative farmer, but it hadn't clicked for me that obviously the food that I'm growing is definitely much better than what you can get in the supermarket, but it's still being grown on depleted soils. We are regenerative farmers because we have a job to do, which is to regenerate these soils that have been so depleted, specifically in Puerto Rico and very similar to Hawaii. I think 90% of our island at one point was entirely deforested, because we became a huge agro-industrious island. So it was either sugarcane or tobacco. Those were like the main things, a little bit of cotton as well. But when I started realizing that the reason we do regenerative farming is because our soil is so depleted, which means that my food is healthy, but it's still not full of all the spectrum of nutrients that it should have if it were like real virgin soil. And understanding that these superfoods that I'm consuming actually come from an almost virgin piece of land. It's like an ancient lava bed, that their practices are also regenerative because you need to keep giving back to the soil. You can't expect it to be perfect forever if you don't continue these practices. But that's when it all made sense to me, that, oh my God, yes, that's the missing link. I didn't have any food in my life that actually came from properly balanced mineralized soil. So by finding this and by being able to take this into my body, and at the same time, kind of parentheses, Christina mentioned glyphosate earlier. For me, as an activist and as a mother, one of my biggest frustrations always lied in the fact that, yes, I can feed my kids as well as I can and as well as I know to, but I know that they're consuming glyphosate. It's impossible. It's everywhere. It's literally in the air. It's found in mother's breast milk nowadays. It's in 30% of the food at the supermarket. It's every time you go out to eat something at a restaurant. It's, in the waterway. And for me, it was really scary and frustrating to know that there was nothing that I could do about it, that it was in my system, it was in my kids' systems, and there was no way that our body was getting rid of it, and it was accumulating. So to be able to partner with a company like Purium, who actually has a glyphosate solution, for me has been a game changer. I just to know that this mix of herbs and algae has the capacity and the clinically proven capacity to take out 74% of the glyphosate from my body and from my kids' bodies, game changer, So for me, that's just been such a healthy thing for my nervous system as well, to be able to have that solution, to offer that solution to the people that I work with. It's been amazing. And before ending, I just wanted to mention, I'm actually wearing one of my favorite shirts, and it's important. I wore it on purpose, and I'm going to put it up to the camera so you all can see. And this was designed by a friend of mine for another friend of mine's agroecology school, and it directly translates into agroecology or death. We shall prevail. And even though it sounds a little Debbie Downer at first, it's actually a very powerful call to action. The world is in a dire place, and our planet has been crying out for decades. But it's really not too late. And it really, there are tools available for everyone, even people who do not have the ability to grow their own food. Nowadays, there is a lot that you can do. So right now, if you are not supporting regenerative farming in every single way that you can, and supporting your body with regenerated food in every single way that you can, you're not doing enough. That's what's up. You're not doing enough. And here we're offering a solution that's super cost effective. It's super simple. It arrives to your doorstep. You don't have to grow the lettuce. You don't have to grow the camu camu. You don't have to grow the acerola. You know, it's all in there. And you're supporting regenerative farmers. You're supporting small scale farmers in Vietnam. You're supporting like internationally influencing regenerative farming around the world. It's such an easy way to really put your money where your mouth is. If these are things that are important to you, there's definitely something that you can do about it. And that's what's made me so passionate about this work that we're doing together, you know, because it's such an amazing solution all in one. And for people like me who can actually turn that even another step forward and turn that into a business, and it's actually a regenerative economic business model. For me, it's like win 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 all over the place, you know. So yeah, I think I've said too much, but thank you for having me. And yeah, super excited for these calls every week. I'm loving them.
It was so good. You did not say too much. Thank you so much. You brought it. Yeah, and I think like what we're here to paint this picture of is not to be downer, but to just be real. We are in a major crisis. I came across this quote yesterday that Franklin Roosevelt said, "The nation that destroys its soil destroys itself." And I don't know the backstory of what he was prophesizing or tuning into, or what was, because that was back kind of when the beginning of all this started to go down. And now we're getting to see the result of this. So if we're wondering, why do I not feel good when I'm eating all the healthy food? Now we know why. If we're wondering, why do half of the kids have autoimmune diseases? Half of the kids in our world today have autoimmune diseases. That should scare us, and make us realize like we have, like Daniela said, we have a lot of work to do, and many people don't want to be farmers. I remember when we started out and we said to our best friends, "Hey, do you want to go in on this land together? You want to share it?" And they wanted to live on the land, but they're like, "That's a lot of work. That's not really what we want to do with our life." So we get it. Not everybody wants to do the level of work that, the three women that you're hearing from today are doing, and that's okay. That's why Purium has created this product where you can get the benefits of deeply rich soil grown food delivered to your doorstep. And that's amazing in a compostable packaging that's non-GMO. I mean, that's amazing. And and to me, in an ideal world, all the soils of the planet are regenerated. Everybody has gardens or local community gardens you can go to. We're all creating these incredible feasts and juicing and fermenting and doing all these things that we have access to, all of our food being medicine at all times every day. And yet we're not there yet. So in these times, I have come to humbly recognize what an ally Purium is in our day-to-day personal family health, and for helping restore our planet, regenerate our planet to be the one that we want to proudly pass on to future generations. And that's what so many people here are dedicated to doing. So I just want to wrap up a little bit by telling you, if you're resonating with this, if you're feeling it, if you're on this replay or you're here live, and this is waking something up in you, you're feeling that pulse of, okay, I'm feeling the call to either experience the products and or share with other people who might also be looking for creating a stream of income and or feeling better. We can show you how to do all that. We work collectively as a team. We all came in, most of us came in without any experience. So we're here for you to help give you the formula of how to do that. And the way that you would get started is connect with the person who's sharing this with you. And if you're ready to just experience the products, they can show you how to go to our website. If you're just going to get the products and experience them as a customer, you can actually go to ishoppurium.com and you're going to get a gift code from your friend who's sharing this with you. That's going to get you 25% off the retail price. And you are going to choose one of our 3 packs. Our most complete pack is one that I enjoy month to month, 5 years now, and that's going to give you the full 30-day transformation, a full gut rebalance, deeply saturating your cells with nutrition, and a gentle detox, a gentle, elimination of anything that's in the way of you thriving. That package plus athletes products. So if you're working out, if you're doing yoga, if you have an active life and could use extra nutrition, could use extra energy, could use extra recovery for those workouts, you're going to get a complete superfoods package with that so that you can continue to work out during that whole 30 days. So it'll be 60 meals plus athletes nutrition and herbs. And that whole package is $17 a day, which comes out to $525, I believe. And if you're ready to share this with people, we'll show you how. You can also get the business for free. That would be a different website, and we would work with you a little bit more closely. But if you are ready to just place that order, you can go to ishoppurium.com, look for that Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation plus Performance. Or some people are getting Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation plus Immune. We have an incredible product that covers all the vitamins that people who are looking for a thriving immune system can add in a very deliverable, food-based, high-grade way. And that is 325, I believe, 324, 364. And that is also on the same website, same discount. And finally, the third package that some people get is just that 30 days of nutrition. You're going to get your 60 meals and your gut balance herbs. And these are the 3 different ways people start. Sometimes people just start enjoying the products, and sometimes people start right out the gate sharing with people, telling their friends and family, hey, I'm going to do this reset. I'm ready to feel better. I'm ready to have more energy. I'm ready to work on some digestive issues I've had my whole life. They just share why they're doing it, and people who are calling this in will recognize what you're putting out there. They'll say, whoa, I want that too. I've been looking for something like that. And then they can learn more. We have lots of videos where you can learn more about the products themselves. This is more of a theme-based conversation. And if you are somebody who is ready to share this and really generate an income that can not only become unlimited really in what you can do with it, but it can be, it can be something that you can share with other people too and help your whole community channel resources into leveling up your local economy, which is part of what Erica and I are working on here, and Daniela is working on in Puerto Rico by sharing with other people. And that to me is amazing, especially some of these local economies who have been ravaged by the chemical agriculture industry. Once the sugarcane plantation era ended here in Hawaii, it's pretty much left these communities in poverty. And so if we can then bring an economy that not only helps rebuild the soil, but helps rebuild the local economy, that to me, I couldn't ask for more to leave, behind when I leave this world. So there's so many solutions here. We have something for everyone, depending on what you're looking for, what you're ready for now. Again, get with a person who's sharing this with you, because the support is also incredible. The community is incredible. And like Daniela said, we have a lot of work to do. So we are really looking for people who can join this mission. We are looking to accelerate the amount of regenerated soils on the planet and regenerated guts. And together we can do this. We can reverse a lot of these trajectories and really create something thriving for our planet and for our future generations. So thank you everybody who's here and taking part. and sharing this if you're watching the replay. And have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you to our amazing speakers.